Ahoy there, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another ship fitting video for Eve Echoes. This time around I've undocked from my usual destroyers, and instead I am in a frigate called the Dramiel. This is what we're going to go over in this video. I'm going to talk about what this frigate is, why I love it so much, how to fit it, and how to use it to make a rather large amount of money very, very easily. Right, so before we jump in, I do have a lot of fun making these videos. I do try hard to bring the very best quality that I can for you guys. If you want to support this channel, you can do so by liking the video, subscribing if you haven't already, and commenting down below, especially ask me any questions you may have, or suggest any future videos you'd like to see. Certainly as well, I am reopening my Patreon, link is in the description below, so if you do want to really support this channel, that is a great way to come and help me out there. Otherwise, I do really enjoy talking to you guys, so come find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on Discord. Again, details are all in the description. Anyway, with all that said and done, let's have a look at the Dramiel. Now, this awesome looking ship is not something you'll easily find on the skill tree, especially if you're looking in the main in the main races. Ship tree, sorry, not skill tree. So if we come out of the four main races, that is to say Minmatar, Gallente, Caldari, and Amar, you'll see that around the bottom and the sides there are 8 other factions. Now, factions range from things like, say, Sanchez Nation and Mordu's Legion, which are pirates, to things like Ore, which are, of course, the industrial ships like the Venture. Now, if we go across to Angel Cartel, this is one of the groups that plague Minmatar space. This is the Dramiel. Now, if you want to build a Dramiel yourself, or buy one, if you look on the market, you'll find that Dramiels currently are selling for about 1 billion ISK. They are not cheap ships, and ultimately that's because if we go into ship blueprints and frigates and then scroll down to where the Dramiel is, there it is here. It is all the way out in nullsec, very low nullsec, and the blueprint alone costs 81 million, nearly 82 million in fact. That's before you even include like the different ores and the time and effort and skills required to build one. Same goes for things like the Worm, which is another very popular ship at the moment, and people are having a lot of fun with those. I do also quite like the look of the Daredevil. It's an interesting looking ship, but Worm and Dramiel are certainly two I would recommend. They're very expensive. I lucked out in that one of the guys who I speak to a lot on my Discord, by the name of Alex the Master, has been building a couple of these and selling them, and just said, you know, look, tell you what, for you to do a video on it, I know you love this kind of stuff, here, have one. Now, the crazy thing about the Dramiel is its skills. I went all the way out to his nullsec station to pick it up. It took me probably about an hour to jump all the way out there. It took me about 10 minutes to jump all the way back because this ship is fast. That 100% warp speed is insane, especially when you combine it with the fact that the Dramiel has a built-in 7.5 astronomical unit warp speed. This thing warps at 15 astronomical units. It also has a flight velocity of 460 meters per second, so darn, this thing is fast at aligning, warping, and moving around space. Now, in addition to this, you'll see that it gets a bonus to small projectile turret damage of 150%, then Frigate Command and Advanced Frigate Command give you additional bonuses to small projectile turret tracking speed and accuracy fall-off. That's on top of 3 high slots, 3 mid slots, and 3 low slots, along with 3 power grid rigs and 3 industrial rigs there as well. Now, again, when you look at the stats here, the overall defense isn't overly high for a Dramiel. It is a frigate, so don't expect too much in the way of raw tankiness. The advantage, though, comes in the fact that this has a signature radius of 30 meters, and as we've mentioned, that flight velocity of 460 meters per second. This is a fast-moving ship. It is a small ship. It is very difficult to hit. Yes, when you get hit, it's going to take a chunk out of your very small pool of health, but getting hit is the difficulty. In fact, the only problem I really have with this ship is its cargo hold capacity. Even if you're just going ratting or running combat encounters like I'm going to show you in a moment, 260 meters cubed fills up rather quickly with ship parts, so you do have to either just ignore the looting or head back to stations and reprocess that, or put it up on market, whatever you want to do with it. Worth mentioning though, the shield resistances are actually surprisingly nice on this, as you'd expect from shields, good against kinetic and explosive with 40 and 50% reduction accordingly, but it's very nice to see that, okay, it's only 10 and 20% for electromagnetic and thermal, but at least it has some resistances there. A lot of the Minotaur ships that I run just flat out don't have resistances to those two, so if you go up against someone using laser cannons, yeah, I tend to get a little bit unstuck. Now, interestingly enough as well, yeah, I know you guys talk to me a lot, you know, you see me a lot using different types of frigates, different types of destroyer, and believe it or not, back when I used to play EVE Online, frigates were my main type of ship. I used to run a lot of rifters, different rifter builds, go out nullsec pirating in a rifter, and until they fix rifters or just give them a little bit of a boost here in EVE Echoes, I've moved on to destroyers, especially my Thrasher. The Dramiel, however, I may have swapped and I may be sticking with this one from here out. Now, this is mainly because 331.79 DPS using just 3 high slots. That's thanks to that small projectile turret damage bonus. Here, I have equipped 3 Freedom 280mm howitzers. You could equip things like the autocannons there, things like Republic Fleet autocannons. You will get higher DPS, I just find them harder to use. If you've watched my video on hybrid turrets where I fly around in a cormorant, I'm not sure if I've been putting that video out before or after this one, so if you haven't seen it, keep your eyes out, it may be coming. Because I'm using the neutron blasters there, and those are such short range, you'll see that I have to actually manually approach things. I can't orbit at range because the guns are so short range that they come out of their optimal range and accuracy fall off. I was finding the same using my Republic Fleet autocannons. The DPS was higher, but I was missing more frequently because I was just orbiting too quickly. I couldn't get within the correct ranges. So yeah, I swapped up to the up to the howitzers, and I'll showcase those in action in just a bit. Now, if you look at the defense, you can see it's kind of a little bit of both shield or armor. I go for shield purely because I've got the equipment for it, and it was slightly higher on the stats there. So of course I have equipped a Mark V reactive shield hardener and a Mark V small shield booster just to keep that shield tanking going, and of course a gyro stabilizer to complement those howitzers. Mark V is good enough for me, I'm quite happy with that. In my mid slots, I've gone for a Mark III small energy Nosferatu, just so I can drain my opponent's capacitor to feed my own, and this is a capacitor stable ship, as you can see if I close this one down there, capacitor stable, but ultimately I do like to just have a Nosferatu on, especially when I'm going PvE, ratting, just so that that when I've got that gyro stabilizer on, I'm not really losing too much of my capacitor. You'll see that later. For PvP, I haven't had a chance to do much PvP in this yet, but a Mark III Warp Disruptor is a great way of just locking them down. I haven't decided what I'll put in that third low slot there. If there's anyone expert watching this who thinks they've got an idea of what to put in that third low slot, do let me know. I'm considering popping in another Mark III Warp Disruptor and finding out if they do indeed stack. Otherwise, that's how I fit my Dramiel. This thing, it's just the howitzers, and then everything to keep it alive with some shields, shield repairs, and the gyro stabilizer for extra damage, plus the warp disruptor there, just to lock my opponent in place if it's PvP, and the energy Nosferatu to drain them for PvE. And again, it's a respectable 331.79 DPS. This is great for running combat encounters. What I will do is I will pull up at a station like this, I will open up the news, and I will just go down and pick every single one of these that's a combat encounter. Now, there are very few on the list right now that are closer than 12 jumps, simply because I've already grabbed them all. Now, what I'll do here is essentially I'll do each of these one by one because I can clear a combat encounter ludicrously quickly with this ship, and because of its warp speed and its alignment, it's very quick for me to jump between the different areas as well. So once I've done mining area safety concern for this video, I'll jump to escaped prisoner and communication jammer, and you'll find that I can move between those areas very quickly. In about the past hour, I've made nearly 10 million ISK just running combat encounters. That is with the loot that you pick up. Obviously, I can't carry too much of it because of the cargo hold on this thing. But from the missions, actually, you know, the encounter rewards, and of course the bounties for killing the enemy ships. But if you want to run a Dramiel, what kind of skills would you look at? Now, because when I started EVE Echoes, I was expecting to be using a Rifter an awful lot, I very quickly skilled into Frigate Command and Advanced Frigate Command. Turns out I didn't really need those, I ended up moving into Destroyer Command, but amazingly, the Dramiel, as you saw from the fitting, gets its main bonuses from Frigate Command and Advanced Frigate Command. So yay me for accidentally skilling into this ship early on. I thought I'd wasted those skill points, turns out no I hadn't. So of course, yes, Frigate Command and Advanced Frigate Command are great for the Dramiel, but going across shield operation is going to be useful as well, simply because we're using shield boosters and shield hardeners, so making skilling into reducing the timers on those is a useful idea. I do like using defense upgrades as well. I'd gone into heavy destroyer defense upgrade, gone heavily into destroyer defense upgrade, sorry to clarify that one, just to get better stats on it. I am going into Frigate Defense Upgrade, as you can see right now. It does give you an additional 50 shield, 50 armor, and 50 structure. Just makes the ship that little bit more survivable. As I said, the Dramiel's main draw is the fact that it doesn't get hit. Everyone's missing you because you're so small and you're so fast, but adding a little bit of Frigate Defense Upgrade there can be useful, just in case you do get hit. Frigate Engineering is always useful if you're finding that what you want to equip into your ship is giving you an unstable capacitor or doesn't fit your power grid, simply because this gives you additional capacitor capacity and power grid output. Always nice to have there. And of course, because this is a small projectile turret boat, small projectile turret operation, and small projectile turret upgrade, and then maybe the advanced version, are also going to be useful there. Small projectile turret operation gives you additional damage, tracking speed, and optimal range to your small projectile turrets, and the small projectile turret upgrade gives you extra damage and extra accuracy fall off. Once you hit advanced small projectile turret operation, you also get gyro stabilizer duration, meaning that every time you pop your gyro stabilizer, it lasts that little bit longer. That does actually bring me to the point as well that I missed, talking about my Dramiel, and that is rigs. Yes, I am actually putting rigs on this one because I'm enjoying it that much. Now, I would recommend ultimately going straight up for damage rigs if you're doing things this way, but again, that third slot I would then fit with something like the shield extender, the one that gives you an additional 20% shield. Don't worry about shield boosters or things like that, just make your pool that little bit bigger. Oh, something sold or bounties have just arrived. As you can see, I'm absolutely broke at the moment from outfitting so many different ships for you guys in videos. But for damage-wise, I've gone for a projectile collision accelerator, which gives me an additional 12.5% damage, raw damage output from small projectile turrets. Sorry, from any projectile turret, not just small ones. And a projectile burst aerator, which gives me a 7.5 reduction to the duration of my turrets. So my turrets fire faster and do more damage per shot, which of course helps up that DPS. Anyway, I think I've spoken enough about how cool the Dramiel looks, how to fit it, and what skills to use. I am now going to undock and jump towards this mission so I can show you this Dramiel in action. Now, normally when I do these videos, I would actually skip all of this jumping, but crikey, this thing moves so quickly, I kind of wanted to showcase it in action. If you've seen the speed there that I just jumped from station to gate, I didn't even hit the 15 astronomical units, because it's not quite a long enough distance to do that. Now I'm going to jump through to Lustrovic, or however the heck you pronounce that. We're going to come into this combat zone, and again, you'll see how quickly I enter that combat zone. Coming through a gate, brief bit of lag and delay here, obviously. As I said, Zimbabwean internet isn't great as it goes, but we do get here. Let's align. Once this activates, you'll see it aligns very quickly. You hit warp in seconds. There's that 15 AUs, and I'm on the other side of the system already, slowing down into a combat situation. Now, what I'm just going to showcase here is just, again, how little damage ultimately you take from these kind of missions. Let's orbit and lock, and how much damage I can do. Those 3 turrets and the skills that I've got alone, as you see, one-shot pretty much everything in these in this environment. I've come into this encounter, and both of those ships have been one-shot. It's ridiculous. I just lock on, I pick a target to orbit, we approach. Now with these particular ones, there we go. I don't even really need to move, but let's get in there and orbit. Or actually, heck, let's hit approach just to show you guys how fast the raw movement speed here is. And again, let's add on that turret just for the little, the gyro stabilizer, just for that little bit of extra speed. And you can see already, in how many seconds was that? Have a look at how long in the video this took to clear an entire combat encounter. I've taken almost no damage back, I haven't put my shield booster on, and that's the entire combat encounter done. From this, I can now open up the combat encounters thing and jump to the next one, go to escape prisoner. I'm not going to showcase this for the video because I'm sure you get the idea already, but just the speed at which I can align, jump to a different area, and warp between these combat encounters. I mean, that's 200,000 ISK just for, what, maybe 30 seconds of shooting enemy ships. Plus then later on all the bonuses that I'll get for those. I would normally loot them as well, but my inventory is pretty full right now. Anyway, you can see I need to go back to a station and unload some of the bits and pieces here. But it was just to showcase there how fast, how quickly a Dramiel will clear through these combat encounters. As I said, admittedly, this ship is going to set you back at current market prices about 1 billion ISK. They are not cheap. Ultimately, is that worth it right now? I'm not going to say yes, it's worth it. I want to showcase this ship because it's an amazing ship that can do some serious alpha strike. I want to jump into PvP with this thing. I will do a video if I get a chance to, showcasing me PvPing in this in this absolute beast of a ship. It looks amazing. It's got incredible damage. It survives like no man's business just because it doesn't get hit by anything. And if you want to go, if you're doing combat encounters, it's great fun because you can see the speed that I'm jumping between systems here. Jumping between those gates, it's insane how fast you jump between systems, and you can go between combat encounters and just rack them up. For me, I've been doing this for about maybe a couple of hours, just trying this out and playing around with it for this video. I've made probably about 20-30 million ISK in that time, just doing combat encounters. So, yeah, it can, I suppose, it can make its money back fairly quickly if you put the time and effort in. I would be intrigued to see how it survives against some of the tougher level, like nullsec ratting anomalies, or indeed some of the tier 8 upwards combat encounters. Just because, as I said, the speed and the damage this thing can do is insane. I'm pretty much one-shotting everything that I come across at tier 5 and tier 6 combat encounters. But anyway, I think that really does wrap up everything that I want to say about this incredible looking ship. I mean, just look how beastie it looks. You see the cool Angel Cartel logo on the side there. I love this ship to pieces. That does just about wrap up everything that I want to say about the ship. I've covered the skills, the combat, everything that I want to mention. So I do hope you find this useful, or at least entertaining, just to see a Dramiel in action. Maybe this is the kind of ship you'd like to give a try. Certainly do have a look at I'm forgetting the name now, the faction trees there. If you go down to your ship tree and then have a look at the different factions, Angel Cartel, Mordu's Legion, that kind of thing. Mordu's Legion, I know they've got a couple of nice missile boats, and I think it's Serpentis with the, yep, there it is, with the Daredevil for small hybrid turrets. There's a couple of drone ones there, worth just having a look into, trying them out. They're great fun. I'm just going to sit here and get on with doing this this next mission, and just making myself some ridiculous amounts of money quickly. Again, there you are. That's a mammoth. One shot. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching, guys. I do hope it's been helpful. Happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.